It's 12 p.m. and you feel as if you have been run over by a bulldozer. There's just so much work stress piling up. You're juggling conference calls and your child's online homeschooling. On top of that, your toddler is constantly tugging on your leg, vying for your attention every 10 minutes. The house is a mess and you're not sure if you're going to permanently injure yourself by stepping on another Lego piece. So when your spouse finally makes an appearance from his workroom at 12 p.m. asking, "Babe, what's for lunch?" you snap. Do you think I even had time to pee? The reality is that working and living with your family in a small living space can be a huge source of stress. Did you know that there was a spike in divorce cases in China after their MCO ended? You don't want to be part of that statistic in Malaysia in the near future. So how can you change the atmosphere in your home? Here are 5 ways on how you can do this. Firstly, set aside time for self-care. If you have been running on an empty emotional tank, you need to stop and make time for some self-care. What are you doing to fill your emotional tank? For me, I need to have my own space for prayer and time to process my daily thoughts. There were days when I just had to lock myself up in my room, sing my heart out to a worship song, and just write in my journal. And then I can face my day. What does your self-care regime look like? It could just be locking your bathroom door and taking an additional 15 minutes in the shower. Or it could be calling a friend to just talk. Whatever it is, make that time for yourself to de-stress. Number 2, detach from work mentally. We get it. There's absolutely no boundary between work and home. In the past, you could have left your work behind at the office and switched off mentally before even heading home. But now, there's no such thing as work-life balance. You're just trying to make sense of this whole giant bowl of mush called life. What could help would be to maybe have a visual timetable for your kids to see when you're working and when you'll be available to them. If your spouse has a dedicated space of working, but you have been working from the dining room where there's a million and one distractions, ask your spouse to swap space with you every few days. Make it a point to set aside meal times as family connection time. 3. Speak kindly. I could have probably avoided a lot of conflict in my home if only I chose my words wisely. If sarcasm is your second name, you need to pause and think. Will this add value to my relationship? How can I say the same thing in a better way? Whenever you feel the urge to criticize, stop and think. What would I prefer to think about instead? Which brings me to my 4th point. Appreciate everything. Don't harp on the small failings of the people around you. Seek out small victories to praise. Acknowledge the effort that your spouse makes, even if it is just taking out the trash. Perhaps you could start a gratitude jar with your family. Every day, write something that you appreciate and drop it into the jar. You could even have a jar for every person in the family. Then at the end of the day of the week or the week, open up and read the messages. Number 5, do something nice for each other. Offer to give your spouse a back rub, make breakfast in bed, write a little note of affirmation, or order a little surprise gift online. You refuel your spouse's emotional tank when you do something nice for him. If you make it a habit to practice these 5 tips daily, the atmosphere in your home will definitely change. Just remember not to beat yourself up if you fail. Leave the failures behind, make a choice to step forward. Every day is a new day, so make today count.